This
let me
conference will now be recorded.
let me set the expectations what we are going to learn, and like, so what is this course all about, and what are the things we are going to cover, and at the end of the course, like, so where you stand. These are the things we are going to discuss in this session. So this is a Java full stack batch, and where you will be introduced to from the basic programming to the how to deploy the application and how to see logs and how we are going to manage application. Everything is we are going to cover. So this program, so we will get start with the introduction to the programming, and this introduction to the programming will be done through the Java, and where we are going to learn the programming fundamental concepts. Like now, the core Java concepts we will be learning with the first. When you are learning the core Java, the day one you need to learn the best practices, like what are the industry standards they use as that, like getting familiar with the version control system, and writing the unit test cases. And the third option is like, effective uses of the Maven build tools, like the build tools. Like here you would be introducing the core Java. We'll work with the Git, and the build tool is a Maven. So there's a Maven, we are going to use it here, and the Git tool Maven. And here we are going to use our project, the Hello World application itself. We are going to create with the Maven project, and then how we are going to write the unit test cases. So where it is going to be covered in this. And here, first we should get familiar with the dev environment, development environment, where what are the typically uses the industry uses the tools, like the one IDE, like you can say it as IDE. Okay, so you can choose any one of these IDEs. Like you have a Eclipse, then we have a NetBeans, and then there is something called the IntelliJ IDE. So we have these are the things we are having here. The most and widely used one is the Eclipse, and like if you take the IntelliJ IDE, another IDE which uses the very often in large applications, and they have two editions. One is a community edition, another one is a ultimate edition. So we are going to use the community edition. We will be using that. For Java programming, we'll start with the Java version 20. We are going to use it. This is a, we can say it as a not a latest. This is the most recently stable version. The Java 20, we would be using that here. So in Java 20, and from what are the recent changes they have done, everything we'll get familiar with the when it comes to the Java 20. Okay. Then once you get familiar with the Java concepts and the Java, when you learn that here, so now you can decide that what are the concepts you learn here, and then we will be introducing the one more concept in Java itself. Like we are going to learn about the SQL. This SQL, we would be using the Postgres SQL as a database. We can use any database. We are going to use the Postgres SQL as a database. We are going to use it here. And this Postgres SQL is a relational database, like any other relational databases are like MySQL, the Oracle, or DB2, Derby. Like there are plenty of relational databases are available, and we would be using the Postgres SQL. We would be using that, and then once you learn SQL, then how you are going to connect your Java application to the databases, we would be using learning the something called the query. These are the programming fundamentals we would be learning, and we'll get familiar with all the build tools and source code repositories and the JUnit, how we are going to test that, and getting familiar with the IDE, and interacting with the databases and connecting your application to the databases. These are the concepts you are going to learn here. And these concepts are what are the core Java you are going to learn. This is a common for Android developer and Selenium test automation developer. Both these are the common. Now where you can choose, suppose you have a plans to go to the test automation, or you want to learn it as a, you want to go it as an Android developer. These are the things you must have the skills. Okay. So now you can decide here the path. Hey, do I go, should I go it as a test automation side, or should I go with the Android development? Or if you're going it as a Java full stack, then you would be learning the other row. JEE technology, we are going to learn that. So that's a JEE technologies is you can take it as a we can take it as a the servlets and JSPs. The next concept we will be learning about the servlets and JSPs. And once you learn servlets and JSP, then you learn the enterprise grade applications. Here you would be introducing the servlets and JSPs. And once you learn the servlets and JSP, you are going to introduce to the enterprise framework called the Spring framework. Okay, this is a place we are going to learn about the Spring Boot. And in order to build a enterprise grade application, the Java, the default, everybody is using the Spring framework. And when you're learning about the Spring framework, you will be introduced to the Spring Core, and then we are going to learn about the Spring AOP and Spring MVC. There are multiple modules are available, and here we are going to cover the main modules. Is these are the modules, and here Spring Data and the Spring MVC. Okay, Spring Security. Okay, so these are the core. These are the modules, main modules, which we will be learning about that. Okay. Here, before going to the servlets and JSPs, you would be introduced to the UI concepts, where HTML, and here we are going to learn about the HTML, then CSS, JS, Bootstrap, okay, so then Ajax, okay, how the Ajax works. So these are the things we will be learning here in UI technologies, and where the extra things like no, so where you as a developer whenever you are working on the projects, most of the times we will be using the common formats like XML, JSON, and property files. Okay, properties like how we are going to use these files. We'll be introducing the so when you're learning the core Java, along with the core Java, we would be introducing the how you can work with the XML files, how we are going to work with the JSON files and property files. We are going to introduce here, and then once you learn the Spring framework and all these things, like now how we are going to integrate your APIs with the Angular. So this is what we are going to take it as. This is the Angular application. I'm going to take it here, and where you learn about the Angular fundamentals and how to interact with the web services. These are all these things you are going to learn it in Angular. Once you learn this here, then here we should know how to do the dockerization of the your application, and how we are going to deploy into the servers, and like how we are going to see the logs. So then here we need to get familiar with the DevOps things, and where you would be introducing the concept called uh, the the commonly used things is like Jenkins. Okay, then Sonar Cube, the Sonar, how to use the Sonar, how we are going to use it here, Sonar and Jenkins, and then we will be showing that like so how we are going to use the Jacoco, so the plugin how we are going to use it here, and once you get familiar with even Docker Hub, Docker and how to use the Docker Hub, so these are the things we can say that no, so CI/CD jobs we will be introducing, and where practically we'll show that here how do you deploy this application into the by building it as a Docker and deploying into your servers. So these things we are going to introduce. And it's not only explaining the theoretically, we will show that in environment how to use this Docker, how to run the Jenkins jobs, and if job fails, and like no, so how we are going to look at that jobs if it is fails, and how we are going to fix that. These are the things. And here, when it comes to the JIT, this is a place where we will be explaining about that how to create a PRs, and how to review your code, and at the same time, uh, when the code conflicts happens, merge conflicts happens, how we are going to resolve, how to do the branching out of the your JIT, and what is the cherry picks. These all advanced concepts will be introduced when I'm introducing the JIT. Okay, so JIT will start with the fundamentals, and to learn the JIT, like whether you use the Java or some other programming language doesn't matter. This is the must-have skills. As a developer, you must have the knowledge on the JIT. Okay, so these are the concepts we are going to explain, or we are going to learn in this 2.5 months course. And then another thing is what are the application we are going to build? Like now at the end of uh, the sessions, what kind of applications we are going to build? Like now, are we getting the any project exposure? These are the questions that people typically will have it here. At the end of the sessions, like now in the classroom itself, what are the applications we are going to build? We would be using the something called the render.com. This is a render.com where we can host your application. You can host your application, and where you can what are the hobby projects you are going to develop, or classroom projects you are going to develop that. Suppose if I want to get a DB instance, I need not to do the local installation. They are going to give you the DB instance. They are going to give it here, and this DB instance is, if you take it here, it's a free tier. They are going to give the 256 RAM. They are going to give it here, and up to you can store the 1 GB data. This is a huge data. You can say that here 1 GB data. Especially we are going to deal with the text data. We are going to deal that here. So this is a 3 months free. Like now, during your learning, this 3 months is a good enough. This this database things. So by the free tier itself, you can learn the things. You can learn that here. Okay. Here out of like no last I can say it as a, this is going to expire on the August. Until now I have used the only 6.15 percentage I used here. So like no, the data 1 GB is a really big data. We can say that in especially when you're working with the, when you're during the learning phase, I can say that here. And similarly, you can create a, you can host your static applications. Like now you develop a one static page, we develop static application, you develop like where you want to deploy, and like you want to publish that. So then you can use the static web page hosting. You can use it here, and at the same time you have something called the Docker. Like now here I have created a Spring Boot application. Let me show you that here. This is a Spring Boot application we created. This is a classroom example, and it is committed yesterday only. So yesterday we committed that. This is yesterday one of the batch example. I'm going to take it here. We developed the IPL stats application, and this IPL stat application, what it does is that it is going to give the, it is going to expose the 4 APIs. It is going to expose the 4 APIs. It is going to expose, and this APIs is like you are going to get the team stats. Suppose if I'm trying here, try it out. This is what API, which is going to give the result of the team stats if I'm taking here. So in IPL data, the IPL data has been persisted in this database, the cloud database. It is persisted, and when I'm calling here uh, IPL slash v1 slash team slash stats, it should give me the, it should give me the, what are the like no, the team statistics. You should give that here. Okay, this is, these are the used in a free tier. Sometimes it may take the little time to make the servers up. Okay. Now I'm going to make a call. This is the second call I initiated. Country stats. I'm going to instantiate the third call I'm initiating. Okay, this server is not responding. Go. Let it happen. Let me refresh this once. Is it my internet is stable? Let me refresh. Okay, there is no problem with that internet connection. So again, UI.html, I'm going to use it here. So there is a small, there is a small issue. Let me go here, incognito window. I'm going to call this here. So this is a, this is taking little time. I don't know what is the reason. Like we can see that here, what exactly is happening in your application. So this is a Docker. If I'm going to this application, I can see the logs. What is the, okay, this application, we won't get the live logs. Like now it may get the little delay. So where we can see that the Hibernate enhanced and requests are not received. Okay, there is a CARS error. There is a network failure. It is saying that here. Maybe the render.com network might be having some issue. Okay, cool. So now here we are going to develop a application. This application we are going to develop that here. And once, what are the APIs there we are going to expose, and we would consume these APIs in the UI. Okay, we'll take it here. Now it's up. There is no problem. Now I'm going to write out and I'm executing this here. The moment I execute this here, this is a simple application. This is a sample application. What we did was we collected the entire IPL, the player data we collected here. Entire application player data we collected here. Player data, and this player data has got the some 5 attributes. This player data has got the 5 attributes it is having here. That's the ID. What is the name of the player? Which team he plays for that, and what is the country? Which country is from? Then what is his role? Whether he is a batsman or bowler or wicket keeper. What is that role? And then what is the amount he has paid? So this IPL 2023 season, if we take that here, IPL 2023, if we take it here, there is a total 10 teams are there. Total 10 teams are there, and this in these 10 teams, like each player, like around 242 players are there. We are going to collect all this information, and this information we dumped into the database. Hey, you guys are with me? Does anyone has any question before I go further? So these are the course, as the course content we would be covering that. Does anyone has any questions? Yeah, feel free to, if you have any question, yeah, you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions. If not, I'll continue further. Okay, the silence is, I'm considering it as no questions. Okay, what we did was here, we have a data, and this data, like which you are getting it as in the form of a CSV file. We got a data from the as a CSV file. This CSV file data, and this CSV file has got the this is the information ID, and we are going to take the Dhoni, and here we are going to take it as a team equal to CSK, and here we are going to take the country equal to India, and here wicket keeper and batsman. I'm going to say it here. Okay, batsman, and he's paid this some 18 crores, something you are going to take it. Like this, we have got the 250 players, 242 players data. We got it in the CSV file. But this CSV file, what we did was we converted into the objects, and finally the CSV data we are going into dumping into the database. This is a place where we have a database which is running in the cloud, which is running in the render.com. It is running the database. Okay, it is running in the cloud provider. This is running in a cloud provider called the render.com. Okay, here this is a place where I hosted my database render.com. So what I did was here, this CSV data I have taken, and here we are developing the one server side application. This is a server side application. Okay, this server side application, it is going to read the CSV file. It will dump the data into this database, and the table name is a player. The database table name is a player. Whatever the data you are taking here, this entire data it is dumped into the database, and in the server application I have written a basic statistics we have written. What is this basic statistics is? So I want to get all the team names. Okay, hey, get me the team names. Okay, you get me the team names. I want to get all the team names. But here we have stored the player information. 242 players information we stored, and there is a team information along with all the player details, like along with the player attributes. It has got the team information also. So I need to get the unique team name. I want to get it here, like distinct team names. I want to get it here. In order to do that here, there is a one API we have written. Hey boss, if you want to get the team names, there is an API for that. You can call this API, which is going to give the list of team names. It is going to give the list of team names. Hey, these are my team names, which are the team names. And this API, the UI developer is going to call, and he is going to consume this API, and he will be displaying the way he wants. He is going to display that here. Okay. The next one is based on the selection of the team, I should get all the players details. Based on the selection of the team, I should get all the player details. Is there any API? Yes, there is a API. Suppose if I'm trying here, this is the API I'm trying here, and when I try that here, I'm going to give it as a CSK. If I give the CSK, I should get the all the players of the CSK, which is coming it as a JSON format. It is coming here. Like now, whenever I ask this server or this API, hey, you give me the players of the CSK, this is going to give the response, and that response you are getting it as a JSON. You are going to get it here. Okay, cool. Now I want to know how much money they have spent. Each team, how much money they have spent. Like if we take this data, RCB has spent this is the amount, CSK has spent this is the amount, DC, and like no, you are going to see that here. The each country wise, how much amount they have spent, you will be getting the details of that. And along with that, like there is something called the role statistics. Okay, each role, how much they have spent it in, which role has spent more money. Either they have spent on the batsman or wicket keeper or all rounder, where they have the entire tournament. If you take that here, where they have spent the more money, and along with that, like there is another API where it is going to give the country and statistics. Like here if you take that here, so Namibia there is a one player, and if you take the India, 165 players are there. Like these are the basic statistics APIs we have written, and like those APIs are like team stats, team amount stats, okay, team amount stats, and then here role amount stat, okay, each role amount stats, and then here we are going to take it as a one more is a country count stats. Okay, these are the things, and there is another two APIs to get the team names, and another one is players of given team. These are the APIs as a server side, or you can say that no backend developer he has written, and these APIs has to be consumed by the UI developer. Okay, these APIs has to be consumed by the UI developer. If you are the full stack developer, you are the one who is going to consume these APIs, and you will be displaying the way you want. You are going to display that here. Now, what I decided was, hey, this is what the page I want. Okay, UI developer, I'm saying that here. This is a UI mark screen. If I take this here, mark screen, I'm going to take it here. This is my mark screen, and where we are going to say it as, hey, my application should have the some logo here. This is a place where we are going to set as a logo. Okay, some logo. And next one is they are saying here, when you're taking here this application, and where you show the one column chart here, and here one column chart here, you show that here, and here you show it as a one bar chart. Okay, one here we are going to show the bar chart. Here you should display the which team how much money they have spent. You display in the form of a column chart. You display that. We are going to say that here. Okay, how much CSK has spent, how much uh, like each team how much they have spent, we need to display in the graphical user format. You need to display that here. This is chart. Now here if I take that here, which like player count, I want to display the player count. Majority of the players are from the India. Remaining which each country how many players are there, you just display in a pie chart. You display the details in the pie chart. You need to display that here. Now here we are going to take it as a one more we will be taking here. Like this, what are the countries you are getting, just you are going to take it. Then here another one is the chart which should display the how much amount spent on the each role. Like now, this role, if I'm taking the bowler, how much they have spent, batsman, how much they have spent, wicket keeper, how much they have spent, and all rounder, how much money they have spent, which you display it as another column. Now the fourth one is here we are going to say it as, hey, can you give me the all the list of teams? Okay, what are the teams it is having here? You give me the list, and you are going to give me a drop down. Whenever I select that particular team, you give me the list of players details. Okay, you give me the list of players details. You are going to ask this here, like no, the who are the players and how much they are earning. This entire player details we want to display that here. Entire player details we should be displaying that here. Okay, what is the name of the player? What is ID, name, and what role is what is the role of that player, and whether he is a batsman or a bowler, wicket keeper role, how much amount he is paid. This is the entire information of this particular team. Suppose if my team name is I selected as a RCB, and I need to get all the RCB players details, I have to get it here. This is a mock screen. As a UI developer, you will get a mock screen. Now you are going to develop this UI screen. When you are developing this UI screen, you have two options. One is you can go with the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. You can develop that. Another one is you can use the Angular. By using the Angular framework, you can create this UI. You can create it here. Now, when you are creating this UI, you need to get the data. So, like we will not know. Like no, it shouldn't be hard coded values. You should get the dynamically. This data has to get that here. In order to get that here, like no, the server application. Okay, here this guy is like backend developers. They have used this server side application. Here you take that here server side application. This server side application by using the Java and Spring Boot, okay, Spring Boot. So this application has been built, and this application internally uses the database is here. It is going to talk to the this is a database. It is going to talk to that here. Okay, this database is we can take it as a PostgreSQL. This is a PostgreSQL. I'm going to take it here, and this server application will be talking to this database. Server application, it is going to talking to this database, which internally it will talk to this database. It is going to talk to that here, and finally the code whatever you are written, like whatever the data you are getting here, they are going to give the as a JSON response. Like no, here whenever you make a HTTP request, like your client application, you are going to take it here. This client can be anything. It can be a mobile application. It can be a Angular application. It can be a iOS application. These are the clients. Okay, these are the clients. You can say that client is not a customer. So please remember that client is a something like here you are going to take a web application. Okay. Here we are going to take it as a Android application, and here we are going to take it as a iOS. Like now, you have a two native applications we have built, and then there is a web application. This web application could be either it can be developed in Angular or React, whatever it is. Like now, these guys are going to make a call to this API, the server. The server is going to give the some response, and what are the response it is getting here? That response they are going to convert into the either charts, or maybe they are displaying in the form of a table, or they may be displaying in the form of a what you can say drop downs. That depends on the smart screen. They are going to display the data the way the format which they want. They are going to do that. So now here, if you look at our the page, if you are looking at this Swagger documentation, first I want to get the team statistics. If I'm getting the team statistics, when I ask that here, this gentleman is giving the, hey, I will give you the team name, I will give you the amount, I'll give the team name. But our mark screen is what it is asking. You display that team name and amount in the column chart. You need to display that here. This is a place where you are going to develop the UI developer. What are the data it is giving here? Suppose if you look at here CSK, or if you look at the RCB has spent the 93 crores, 25 lakhs they have spent on the all the players. Now is this correct? So RCB to take that here 93 crores 25 lakhs, you are going to get it here. 25 lakhs is this is what we are going to display in the form of a UI we would be displaying here. Like now, what are the APIs? Like another one is we are asking that here. Can you get me the all the team names? Can you get me all the team names? If I'm asking here, team names, if I'm looking at here, we have a team names. You can see here RCB, CSK, DC. These are the team names, and you can see here the API which you are calling. You are going to get the team names, and that team names you are displaying in the form of a drop down. And based on the selection of the team, I should get the players of that particular team. KKR, we are going to get the KKR. Now, if I go and check that here, what is that API available here? Team name. So if I'm saying here KKR, so I should get the players of all the KKR. I should get that here. You can look at here. So yes, I hear what are the players you are getting here? Are these getting the same thing? Yes, it is getting the same. The similarly, your role also you are going to take. As a full stack developer, you need to develop the UI, and at the same time you need to work on the backend APIs, and writing the queries for to get the data, to get this format data. You have to write a SQL queries. That is also your job. And another one is the deployment, taking this requirement and gathering this requirement, converting into the this requirement into the design. And design, typically you will not do that as a developer. Like there will be a separate team for the giving the mark screen and the design. They will be taking care of that. So like you take this requirement and you conceptualize, and then you are going to model it, and finally how this data has to be stored in database. These all these things as a full stack developer you would be doing that. Finally, when you are developing this, you need to collaborate with the multiple people, multiple teams also at a time. So how we are going to collaborate, like now working with the when there is a defect has been raised, how we are going to look at the Jira tickets, and when there is a new bug has been raised, how we are going to branching out the existing source code, and how do you are going to fix that. And once you fix that code, like now what are the process your organization is following, how to follow that. Like now I will explain the what we follow. So by from the Jira ticket, how we are going to create a branch, and once you create a branch, if you do the fixes, how we are going to test that here. Well, we need to test that. What are the fix we have done that, even the small change, but we cannot take the chance. We have to test that. How do you test that? Then how finally once you have created the PR, and your tech lead or your peer is going to review that code, and if he is giving the any comments, how to change that, like code in according to his comments. So these all the things we will be learning in this process. And at the same time, this application we have to build it as a Docker image, and we are going to deploy into the server. How to do that? And this is a DB instance, how to create it in the DB in the render.com. So I will be explaining the each and everything, and I will make you to do practically these all examples. So end of the classroom sessions, this is one of the example. I'm saying that you will get a practical exposure about the how API works, and how we are going to consume that API, and how to build the UI, how we are going to consume that API responses in the UI. You will get a practical hands-on experience you are going to get. So these are the things you can expect the minimum. Okay, in the sessions, like now I cannot explain each and every example whatever we are going to discuss in the classroom in the demo session. So this is what, and moreover these sessions are completely hands-on. I'm not going to take any ready-made code. This code will be so when the session is started, we will start from the scratch, and everything will be coded. And at the same time, end of the session, the code will be shared with you. Like now, this is the what GitHub link. If you look at here, suppose if I'm going to the one of the previous batches, if we are going here, so if you look at the March 6th, this is a batch. Like now, what are the things we have done? Everything will be the code will be shared with you. Like now here, if you look at here, so learning core Java, and what are the core Java examples we have created, and where you can see that here SRC main. So where you are going to take it as a core Java day 1 2. So totally it took the 23 days it has took that core Java. Like now you can see what are the examples we have done that here. Okay, JSON example. How do you convert your JSON files into the Java objects? So these all these things will be coding in the classroom, and end of the day, the same source code will be shared with you. Like this GitHub repository is going to give the link, and in the demo session, what are the nodes, or not demo session, classroom, what are the nodes I'm going to write it here, running nodes. These nodes also will be shared with you. So these are the things you can expect uh, from this program. Anyone has any questions or any clarifications, feel free to ask the things, whatever the doubts you are having. Let's make it as a session is interactive. Yeah,
Yeah, I have a question.
go ahead, please.
So, yeah, when you were explaining about the backend Spring Boot application, so I have
Mhm.
seen there are a couple of GET requests. So, do you also develop like other HTTP requests like post, patch, put, delete, or how is the
Yeah,
data getting persisted right now?
correct. See here, this is a statistics example. Like in order to persist this data into the database, we would be doing the backend jobs, and those APIs will not be exposing in this application. I'm saying that. Okay, in this particular application, we are loading the data to the CSV, and finally we are dumping into the database. We will run it as a we will these APIs we will not expose. Okay, it is not required also for the UI developers. Okay. So typically when you are working in a larger application, so there will be a CRUD operations we are going to perform that, like create, read, update, delete. So those are the operations you will be performing, and where you write the APIs for the CRUD, we are going to write it here. And if you take it here, those APIs, okay, here I'm going to take to the one of these examples. I'm going to take it here. Okay, let's we will take it as cool. This is a wallet application. I'm going to take it here. Okay, we'll go to the dev branch. So the dev branch will have the most of the code. Okay. Now, if we are taking here, these are the applications you would be we would be taking here. Like no, this is a wallet application. If I'm taking here, there is a services. Okay, this is a domain. Like no, where you are going to take this wallet. What are the CRUD operations you will have it here? Creating the wallet, get the wallet, and like no, get wallet, like no, loading the amount, the transferring the amount. So when you are using this application, you have to write a APIs for the how to create, like there are there are there are some HTTP verbs. Okay, so like how we are going to use the put method, post method, and like get method, and here we have got the delete method. So then options. Okay, then you have got the patch method. So these are the methods you would be using. By using these methods, when you're doing the partial update, you would go with the patch method, and when you're updating the object, you will go with the put method. When you're creating the resource, you would be using the post method. Get the elements, you would be using the get method. So these all HTTP verbs I will be discussing here. I'll be discussing when you are explaining about the uh, like how the web services works. So we will take a application. In case of this, like the like you can take it as a simple application, which as like wallet application. Okay, so when you take the wallet, if you are developing the wallet application where you are offering the wallet. Okay, this is, you can take it as in the closed community, you are creating the one wallet, and who are registered with our website, and they can create a wallet, and this from this wallet you can send the money only who are in this network, or who are in this platform. So there is a, like you are going to create it as this person is creating the wallet, and another person is creating the wallet. Like there will be a multiple wallets. From one wallet to another wallet, you want to transfer the money. You want to transfer the money, where you could use the where when you are developing this application, you would be using all these options you are going to use. Okay. In this example, these all are get calls. Okay. So to load the data, we use the backend jobs we have used, and we would be running that. Is this
Yeah, it's
clear?
clear. Yeah, it is clear. Thank you. So by the end of the training, so we do expect to use all the HTTP verbs
Yeah, yeah.
in the project, right?
Correct. Correct.
Okay. And
Okay.
also when
You.
it comes to front end, the Angular
Mhm.
application, do we
Mhm.
also create the routing examples and all those stuff like nested routes and
Correct. You would be using that.
okay.
Okay. So we will try to cover the most of the things we'll try to cover. Yeah. Like how the routings will happen. So these are all the things we would be covering here. This is the one of the example. If we take that here, like you can look at the controllers, where we would be explaining about the uh, like how to get the currencies. Like if you want to create a currencies, like you have a like this is a microservices. When you're using that, we have I have used the one of the application, where what happens is here you have a two services. Let me give a simple example. Let me give a simple example. Classroom examples. Please open the list. Okay, you are running a one service where you have a list. We are going to manage all the employees here. Okay, let's take it here. This is the employees, and here we have another service, which is, we can say it as an employee service. a currency service. I'm sorry. This is a currency service. Currency service. This service, which is going to maintain the list of currencies and their symbols, and it is going to maintain the how many decimals it has to be displayed when you are using the currencies. Each currency has got the some standards, like no. So if you take the US dollar, it should have the only 2 decimal places. If you take the some other currency, it should have the 4 decimal places. And this currency information is we are running it as a one service, and the employee details is in one service. Now here, whenever I'm returning the employee salaries, and some people are paid in dollars, some people are paid in INR, some people are paid in some other currency. Like while displaying that currencies, you want to display the employee. Suppose if I'm taking the employee number 1001, and his name is let's put it as a Krish, and here is going to pay it as a dollar. Okay, let's put it as a per hour is going to pay the 28.50 dollars he was paid. So this is what, like no employee salary in hourly basis. If you take that here, this is what he is paid. Suppose somebody else is there. So here at the time of creating the employee, we will maintain the what currency this employee is paid salary, but we will not maintain the currency symbol and how many decimal places it has to be displayed. But only it requires when you are exposing this data to the outside through the API, they require this formatted salary they want. Like depends on the currency, how many decimals it has to be kept. What is the currency symbol? So here only they are going to store it in a currency code. They are not going to store the currency symbol. This information you would get it from the this. This is going to talk to the this currency, and it will get the currency information. Like no, it is going to make a request to the, hey, can you give me the currency with this code, and this service is going to give the currency, and then they are going to format their data, and finally they will they the API is going to render the data in this format. So how to communicate from one service to other service, I will be explaining that also. Here we are going to add the employee, delete employee, updating the employees. These all the things you would be discussing. And like how this service is going to talk to the other services, like by using the REST template, how we are going to communicate, you will be learning. Okay, now when it comes to the Angular part, so here the main we will give the more emphasis or more focus on the JavaScript. And once you learn the JavaScript, to learn Angular, you need to learn about the TypeScript. Okay, TypeScript is another programming language. You can say that here. TypeScript is which is a set of the JavaScript. By using the TypeScript, how we would be developing the Angular framework is developed in the TypeScript, and even our Angular development also will start with the TypeScript. How to do the routing, and how you are going to use the services, and how to create a custom filters, and how we are going to components you are going to create. These are all the things we will be learning. Like there will be multiple modules, how on demand, how we are going to load the modules. So these concepts we will be covering in the time. Yeah. So how this program is going to be executed and how it is going to start that here. We will start from the first. You are going to do the dev environment setup, dev setup. We'll do that here. And during this dev setup, we will install the JDK, and we are going to install the Git, and we will be installing the Maven, and then IDE we are going to use it here. This is the IntelliJ IDEA we are going to install. IntelliJ IDEA we are going to install, and we will be installing this. These are the things. And once you are during the core Java learning, these are the things you require. And once you are going to the UI technology, we are going to use the VS Code. VS Code with some plugins we are going to do that here. So that is VS Code with the plugins. We can say it as a live preview server, and there are what are the necessary plugins it's required. We will be using that here. And when you're learning the Spring and other things, so where we are going to install the Docker desktop. Okay, Docker desktop we are going to install. Only one thing is extra it's required. And when you are deploying your services, when you are registering your services, and we are working with the databases, we are not going to install any database. We are going to use the render.conf, we are going to create a one instance. DB instance will be created to use the we are going to use the there is a plugin called the there is a tool called the DB viewer. Okay, DB viewer. So this is what we are going to we would be using here. DB viewer. This is a UI tool we are going to use it here in order to interact with the database. Then anyhow we install the Docker and we will learn about the how to run the Jenkins in the Docker and how to run the Sonar in the Docker. We will be learning and we will push that code to the GitHub, and from there you will build that project by using the Jenkins, and finally you are going to build that application and you are going to deploy that here. So and another one is during the deployment, I'll just show you that here how we are going to use the AWS services, how you would be using the AWS services, like when you are deploying the application into the AWS services, how to use that. We'll learn about this. So, so once you are done with the basic setup, then we are going to start with the from hello world example. The very basics we'll start from the scratch. We are going to start that here. And are we going to use the any AI tools? Yes, we are going. I'm going to cover the AI tools. The most widely used AI tool these days is when you're working with the GitHub, and there is something called the GitHub. We have some GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot. This is what I'm going to use the AI tool. So these AI tools will help us generating the code. Like now they are going to give you the it's like acts like a your Copilot. Like now whenever you are coding, then it is going to tell you that lot of suggestions, and I will be using the GitHub Copilot in these sessions, and we will be using the ChatGPT as well. Okay, ChatGPT. So we will be using the ChatGPT. Both the things we will be using that here. How we are going to create a your own interface for the ChatGPT APIs. Like they have exposed the APIs. How we are going to build your own API to consume the ChatGPT services. You will be seeing that. Okay, and whenever you don't find that solutions, we'll go to the ChatGPT and we'll get the some suggestions we are going to get from the ChatGPT. We also will take it from that. So AI tools also it is like now these are happening things. Guys, don't underestimate these AI tools. You is under like no, don't laugh at that those things also. It is not going to replace jobs and all these things. Don't get it into those debates. So try to take it in a very sportively and like no, hey, what are the things it is going to offer? How it is going to reduce my efforts? So that's a way you think that how I can learn quickly. So this is a way you go ahead and you touch these topics as well. GitHub Copilot or ChatGPT. ChatGPT, say everybody might have been familiar with that, and GitHub Copilot is this is purely for the developers. Okay, whenever you are coding, how this is going to help that here. Just to, as a to explain the small demo, I'll just show you the one of the examples where we would be using the GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT. Both we can take that. Okay, where exactly we are going to use that. Okay, uh, let me open my IDE, IntelliJ IDE. I'm going to open this here. Community edition. I'm using Q. It's already running. Where it's running. Okay, IntelliJ IDE. I'm going to take this is my idea. I'm going to open it here. Just I want to show you the simple example. I will not take more time. So okay, I think we have I have a ready-made example. Like this batch only we have done that here. I'll just show you that ChatGPT how we are going to use that by using consuming that. Okay, when I'm using the ChatGPT, I required a ID for that. Key is required. I'll just check. We'll see that here whether it's running or not. Then API key is required. Okay, cool. no issues. Now I'm going to log in with the developers. Okay, just I'm going to take it here. Okay, this is the place where you can get the API key. You can get it here. Let me log in with this platform ChatGPT. I'm going to log in. This is a login as an API. I'm going to take the API. Okay, these are my where I can get the view API keys. Okay, these keys cannot be seen that here. Now I'm going to create a key. So for example, I'm going to say it as a sample key I'm generating here. Copy this key. Okay, let me show you that here. In ChatGPT, let me go back here. Now I'm going to open this in Explorer. Okay, where I'm going to the UI workspace. This is a UI example, whatever it is done in a classroom. Okay, just I want to show you that here. What kind of examples you will be doing in classrooms when you are discussing that. Let me go and open with the Visual Studio Code. Use it here. Now, what kind of examples you will be developing in when you're learning the UI. So this is one of the example I can take it here. So here we are going to open with the live preview server. When you open the live preview server, it is going to open in this is going to open in a browser. So it's a server is going to run. Okay. Okay, live preview server is started. So it's going to open in browser. It is going to open. It started and it's running in the 5500 is a port number. You can see here. These are my application. If I'm taking here, I want to get a top news. I want to get a top news. Like no example, I want to get it here. Like no, if I'm taking here home page, this is a home page. I think JavaScript. Like now when you're learning the JavaScript, how we are going to do this here, enter the name to search, and I'm going to give it as a something K. I'm going to enter here. So which are the names with the K you will be getting here. This is one of the simple example where you are going to say that here. The EMI calculator. Suppose if I'm taking the loan of 5 lakhs, okay, rate of interest is at 12%. I'm going to take it here, and here I'm going to take for the 5 years is nothing but the 60 months I'm taking here. And if you're taking the amount is a 5 lakhs, rate of interest is a 12% for 60 months. Every month you have to pay the EMI of the 11,112 rupees. We need to pay that here. Suppose if I'm taking the 1 lakh for 12%, how much amount you need to pay that here? So this is a I'm going to take it as a for 1 year. If I'm taking for that, like my 8,880 rupees, you need to pay that here. So when you're learning the JavaScript, you will be doing the practical example. So this UI may not be that pretty. So our focus is on the JavaScript. You are going to enter the number. Suppose if I'm entering the number 6 and I want to find the factorial of number. Suppose if I'm adding the sum number and reverse of a given number, sum of digits and Fibonacci series. This I did not do that here. This will be given it as an assignment. Okay. Now here if we go to the news, top news, I want to get it here. Like no, this news where you are getting, there is something called the news API. This is a website where they will offer they are going to provide the top news. Like now, hey boss, you can get the top headings you want to get it here. Like now, this is what the news they are going to give it here. From this news API, we are going to consume this API. Finally, we are going to get the top news from the each country news, whatever it is giving we are going to get it here. Suppose if I'm taking I'm going to take it as the general news in India news. I want to get it here. Like no, this is what the news in India, the top news in India. This is what it's going to show that here. Suppose if I'm saying it has only about the sports, and I'll be getting these are the sports news from where it is, and like no, this is what. Suppose if you are in the like no, you are interested in technology and countries, I'm going to take it as a United States. What is the things are happening? Just you get a top news. and we are consuming their APIs. We are going to consume that here. And what are the data they are giving? The APIs if they are giving here. Uh, okay, get API key. I'm going to say that here. Okay, I don't want to do that here. Okay, now here getting started. If you go here, so this is what they would be specifying here. Boss, if you want to get a top headings, you give the country code, category name. They are going to give in this format. They are giving the articles. There is a title, description, and then there is a image to URL. Okay. Now, what are the date response they are giving? They are giving a lot of information, but I would be interested in only these things: image, what is the heading of that, and what is the description. They get more information, the actual link to the this news. If you want to read about the completely about this news, they are going to give the link, and I can if you click on that, it will take you to that. So this is one of the example I can say that here. Now, when it comes to the ChatGPT, how we are going to enter here? Like now, I'm going to type it here. What is JavaScript? Okay, I'm going to type it here. What is a JavaScript? Uh, this would be failing. Like now, let's we'll see that here. What is happening here? Okay, there is something wrong. Voice of JavaScript. Okay. Maybe my key. Did I add the key properly? Okay, I've added the key. This is what we are going to call it here. Okay, you can see that here. Maybe something it is going wrong. Here we'll try to see that here. These are done. And here the API references I'm going here are examples are playground. I'm going to the playground. So this is a playground. I'm going to use it here. So right. Okay, this is a UI of that ChatGPT. I'm going to write it here. What is the JS? And I'm going to submit here. I have reached the maximum limit. I have reached the maximum limit. Okay, they are saying that I have reached the maximum limit. Okay, let me change that here. Logout. Okay, I'm going to continue with Gmail. Uh, use another account. gmail.com. Okay, I forgot my email ID. Okay, I remember. Okay, this is what I'm going to say that here. Okay, one account I reached the maximum thresholds I reached. Okay, so that's where it was not getting correct. It was failing. I'm going to show that API key. Okay, fine. Here we are going to create a one more token. I'm going to create it here. So this is the demo. I'm going to create this API key. Copy this API key. Done. And I don't require this new key. I'm going to revoke. And I don't require this new key. I'm revoking that. Now here I'm going to change my key in. This is a place where I'm going to change that key. Okay, I will delete this key later. Okay, this is what. Like in my application, I'm going to say that here. What is a JavaScript? I'm asking the question. What is a JavaScript? I'm going to ask that here. JavaScript is a programming language. This can be used. This, all these things. Now, if you go and type it same thing in the ChatGPT, it is going to do the same thing. And instead of going to their website, we are creating our own here playground. If I'm going here, okay, what is a what is the question I asked here? So the same question I'm going to ask it here. What is the ChatGPT? I'm going to submit this here. It is going to give you the response. Okay, JavaScript is a high-level interpreted this important web page. You see here, JavaScript is a language that can be used. Like now, each time it is going to give a different response, I guess. Okay. So if I'm asking you once again, what is the JavaScript? Once again, I'm asking here. You may get the different output. So this model, like now, how they are like now exposing that out. Like sometimes you want to customize in your own UI. You want to use it here, and we can consume their APIs. This is the way you can consume that. Yeah. How to consume these APIs by using the ChatGPT. API, how we are, what are they are exposing that, how I'm going to use it here. You can play with that. Okay. Then there is a like ChatGPT news under this contact book application, which is given it as an assignment, where you would be developing the contact book, where adding the contact, deleting the contact. These things will be introduced in the practical examples only. We are going to take it when you are working with the UI. Any questions here? So these are the things we would be covering it practically, and we would be coding. Everything is live examples, and assignment questions will be shared with you. Every topic will give the assignments, and there will be quizzes we are going to provide. These are the things you can expect from this the Java full stack program. If anyone has any questions, I'll take your questions. Otherwise, more or less, I'm done with the demo. Yeah. Any questions? Hope you learned something from me today. Okay, so we'll see you going forward. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.